Welcome to the deep dive. We're diving deep into something truly practical today, a fantastic YouTube transcript.
Mm-hmm.
It maps out a clear step-by-step journey for learning English, taking you from, well, the very first words all the way up to confident communication.
That's right. This source doesn't just, throw vocabulary at you. It lays out a logical path,
Huh?
showing exactly how you can build your English skills naturally, level by level. It moves from simple, everyday actions right up to expressing more complex ideas, feelings, opinions.
Okay, so our mission in this deep dive is really to unpack this whole journey for you.
Yep. Pull out the most effective techniques, the core phrases,
Yeah?
and maybe show why this structured approach can be, well, such a game changer for your learning.
So if you've ever felt stuck or maybe wondered how to go from basic understanding to really using English,
To connect.
to connect, converse, or just navigate the world around you,
Yeah.
this deep dive into this source is specifically for you. Let's get started and see what it has to offer.
Sounds good.
Okay, let's unpack this. Our source starts right at the absolute beginning, calling it Level 1.
Level 1.
The focus here is incredibly practical, simple, everyday actions you do constantly.
What's fascinating here, I think, is how it centers on building immediate confidence.
Ah.
It's all about using very short, practical sentences directly related to your own life.
Right, like your morning routine, for instance.
Exactly. The source uses examples like, good morning, simple, I feel good, time to get ready.
Yes, and it continues into specific actions, like in the bathroom, I wash my face, I brush my teeth.
I take a shower, yeah,
The power is just in saying these simple, short sentences with confidence.
right. Or moving to the kitchen. I make tea, I eat breakfast, I drink water.
Mm-hmm.
The core principle here seems to be that you don't need difficult grammar to start speaking.
No complex stuff yet.
No, it's about beginning to think in English by simply labeling these basic actions you perform every single day.
It makes the language feel immediately relevant, usable.
Exactly. It's practical, usable language from day one, building that foundational connection between the English words and, well, your reality.
Okay, so once those basic short sentences feel comfortable, level 2 introduces just a little bit more detail. How does the source suggest adding complexity here?
Well, this level starts integrating additional information, things like time or maybe frequency, into those sentences you already know.
Ah.
You're simply making the basic statements a bit richer.
Okay, so instead of just I wake up, you'd learn to say I wake up at 7 in the morning.
Precisely.
Or I brush my teeth.
Mm.
Becomes I brush my teeth for 2 minutes.
Yes, adding those modifiers.
I make a cup of tea every day.
Yeah.
Adds the frequency.
Exactly. The source illustrates this with a little story about Emma's morning routine.
Okay.
Wakes at 6:30, brushes teeth for 2 minutes, showers, goes to the kitchen, makes toast, drinks orange juice, leaves for school. See?
Right. Adding those simple details transforms basic actions into a description of a routine.
Mm-hmm. And the method emphasizes slow, steady growth by just layering more context onto what you already know.
Okay, now here's where it gets really interesting for practical real-world use. Level 3.
Yes.
It moves out of just describing your own actions and into actual dialogues using useful daily phrases.
This level is definitely designed for practicing situations you'll genuinely face.
Like ordering coffee.
Exactly. Ordering coffee, asking for directions, getting help in a shop, it shifts the focus from monologue to interaction.
The coffee shop dialogue they use is a perfect example, isn't it?
It really is. Practicing that polite back and forth.
Like the cashier asks, "What would you like to order?"
And you respond, I would like a coffee, please.
They ask about milk or sugar. You answer. They give the price.
You pay, you thank them. It's functional, polite, and covers a complete transaction.
And the bookstore scenario is similar, asking, "Excuse me, where can I find English books?"
And understanding the reply, they're on the second shelf, then responding politely, thank you very much.
Mhm.
The source really stresses practicing these aloud, imagining yourself in that situation.
So it's not just memorizing lines.
No, definitely not. It's internalizing the flow of a conversation.
Okay, stepping up the game now. Level 4 introduces more vocabulary, but through short stories that mirror common daily life.
Yeah, using stories is a smart way to introduce new words and phrases in context.
Hmm.
The story about Sarah going to the market is a great illustration of this.
Tell us about that one.
Well, she needs vegetables and fruits, takes her bag, walks to the market, then she buys specific things. Tomatoes, onions, green peppers, bananas, apples, oranges.
Right.
She talks to the vendor, asks how much for the apples. Here's $3 per kilo, buys 2 kilos, thanks the vendor, and returns home.
So it integrates nouns like vendor and kilo, verbs like buys and asks, and phrases like how much
Yeah,
within a simple narrative.
exactly. It helps you see how words connect naturally.
And the source suggests a practice technique here.
A powerful one, yes.
Yeah.
Recreating the story based on your own shopping trip.
Ah, making it personal.
Right. Instead of Sarah, it's you going to the market and buying your items. They also practice sequencing actions. I'm going to the market, I need to buy, I walk, I see, and so on.
Helps you structure your own simple narratives more easily.
Exactly. It's all about making the language personal and active.
Now, for a crucial step, I think. Level 5 introduces connecting words. Because, so, and but. This allows you to link ideas, right?
Absolutely crucial. This is where your sentences really start to grow in complexity and expressiveness.
They move beyond just simple statements.
Exactly. These conjunctions are vital for explaining why something is happening or what the consequence is. They add depth and logic.
The source gives some clear examples, like, I am learning English because I want to study abroad, giving a reason.
Or, I was tired, so I went to bed early, showing a result.
I like pizza, but I don't eat it every day, showing a contrast.
The story they use about Alex, the software engineer, shows these working together beautifully. He works from home because it's peaceful, he loves coding, but he also enjoys painting, and he goes hiking on weekends so he can relax. See?
Right, it weaves them into a description.
And the source emphasizes making your own sentences with these words as key practice. It reinforces that this isn't just passive learning, it's active application.
Okay. So as you get more comfortable linking ideas, level 6 shifts the focus. It's more about natural sentence flow and practicing real social situations.
That's right. This level moves beyond just, let's say, correct grammar to sounding polite, friendly, and comfortable in social settings.
Like at a friend's house or a party.
Exactly. It's about the social nuances of language.
Yeah, I saw phrases for visiting someone's home. Thank you for inviting me. Your home is lovely.
How the host might respond. I'm so happy you could come. I hope you're hungry.
And knowing how to reply politely, like, yes, I'm really looking forward to the meal. Everything smells delicious. Practicing those moments.
Right. And the story about Maria at our colleague's party demonstrates essential small talk.
Like how to offer a gift.
Yeah, this is for you. I hope you like it. Or how to respond to a compliment. That's very thoughtful. Thank you.
And joining conversations. So how do you all know each other?
Exactly. We all work in the same department. This level really focuses on sounding natural and fluent, expressing feelings, opinions, and showing social awareness. It's beyond just the facts.
And finally, level 7. The most advanced stage in this source's path. This is where language becomes truly, well, natural, expressive, emotionally intelligent.
Yes, this is about adding nuance and your personal voice. It covers giving opinions clearly.
Examples like, in my opinion, learning English through stories is more effective.
Or, I believe speaking every day is the best way, and expressing a wider range of feelings.
I felt nervous before my interview, or I was excited to meet my favorite author.
And importantly, even disagreeing politely while maintaining respect.
Like, I understand your point, but I see it differently.
Or, that's a good idea, but I think we should consider other options, keeping it constructive.
The story about Lisa feeling proud after her project success, that shows how to weave emotions into telling a story, right?
Exactly. And the coworker dialogue between Anna and Jack debating social media versus email campaigns, that demonstrates having a collaborative discussion with polite disagreement.
It also covers giving suggestions and advice effectively.
Like if I were you, I would start with easy grammar books. Or, you should practice speaking every day.
And the story is Jason taking Emily's advice to record himself practicing shows this level in action using language to help others learn. Now, what's interesting is that the source doesn't just rely on these levels. It highlights several core practice techniques that are crucial throughout the whole journey.
Yes, absolutely. Repetition and active practice are central to this method. The source suggests a specific technique.
Which is?
Hear a sentence, repeat it exactly, and then change just a small part to create a new sentence.
Like taking I go to the gym every morning and changing it to I go to the park every morning.
Or, I went to the gym yesterday. It's not just mindless repetition. It's building flexibility by actively manipulating the language.
And storytelling comes up again.
Yes, using the language you've learned at each stage to describe your own life, your day, your weekend, your experiences makes it incredibly personal and memorable.
What about listening?
Consistent listening habits are highlighted as the silent partner in this process.
Silent partner, I like that.
The advice is to listen for maybe 15 to 30 minutes daily,
Yeah.
to things you genuinely find interesting: music, podcasts, videos, whatever.
And the key is not to stress about understanding every single word at first.
Exactly. Focus on the general idea, get used to the sounds, the rhythm of English.
And then there's shadowing, connecting listening to speaking.
Yes. Listen to a sentence, pause it, and then repeat it exactly as you heard it. Try to match the pronunciation, the rhythm, the flow. It's a powerful technique for improving spoken English naturally.
So, these techniques, active repetition variation, personal storytelling, consistent listening, and shadowing, they're presented as the engines driving progress, not just optional extras.
That seems to be the idea, because the source doesn't just give you abstract levels and techniques, it then dives into the specific language needed for tons of common practical situations.
Right. It shows how the principles are applied, like describing routines and habits.
Yes, using the simple present tense from levels 1 and 2. Examples like, I usually wake up at 7 a.m. or I always drink tea. They use stories like Sarah's morning or Tom, the teacher's routine, to illustrate.
And describing your environment, your town, your neighborhood.
Yeah, phrases like, I live in a small town, it's quiet and peaceful. Using prepositions correctly, describing Tom's city apartment, things like that.
Or describing people's appearance and personality.
My brother is tall and has dark hair. He's very kind. Using adjectives, like describing Emma's friend Lily.
Then moving beyond the present, talking about past events.
Using the simple past tense. I watched a movie last night. We visited my grandparents. Stories like Ben's zoo trip or Rachel's weekend are the practice grounds.
And navigating everyday social needs, like asking for help politely.
Can you help me, please? Would you mind showing me how to do this? The story of Nina in computer class asking the teacher to repeat is a good practical example.
Giving and responding to compliments, that crucial social language from level 6.
You did a great job. I like your presentation. And knowing how to reply, thank you, that means a lot. Mark complimenting Alex's speech is the illustration.
Shopping conversations are detailed too, building on level 3 dialogues.
Asking prices, finding sizes, browsing, paying, getting receipts. Jessica and Jacob's shopping stories provide that context.
Restaurant language, another key scenario.
Asking for the menu, ordering, asking for the bill, giving feedback. Emma and her friend ordering shows these phrases in action.
What about phones?
Handling phone conversations is included too. Answering, calling, asking for someone, leaving messages, scheduling appointments.
Seems comprehensive.
Yeah, the stories of David calling the doctor and Mark calling about an apartment cover these.
It even touches on job interviews.
Briefly, yes. Focusing on practicing answers to common questions like, tell me about yourself, or why do you want to work here? Lisa's bookstore interview is the example.
Talking about hobbies, free time, allowing you to share personal interests.
Right. I like reading novels. In my free time, I enjoy cooking. Linking back to that personal expression in later levels, Jason's hobbies story illustrates it.
Expressing emotions and feelings directly from level 7.
I feel happy today. I'm a little tired. I was nervous. Maria's presentation story shows incorporating feelings again.
Giving directions is covered.
Go straight for 2 blocks, then turn left. The story of Alan finding the museum provides the scenario.
Talking about future plans.
Using going to or will. We are planning. I hope to improve. Priya traveling to Japan demonstrates this.
Describing problems and solutions, a practical skill.
My internet wasn't working. I lost my phone. And adding the solutions. Restarting the modem, finding the phone. David's flat tire story gives that framework.
Making plans with friends or colleagues.
Suggestions like, would you like to have coffee? Positive responses. Polite refusals. The story of Sarah and Olivia making plans covers that.
And finally, language at the doctor's office. That's essential.
Very. Describing symptoms, I have a headache. Answering questions, understanding advice. Jenny visiting the doctor illustrates this critical use of language.
Wow. That really was a comprehensive look at this source's method.
It certainly covers a lot of ground.
We've seen how it builds block by block from those simplest sentences.
Describing daily actions.
Through linking ideas, having real dialogues, all the way up to expressing complex feelings and handling those intricate social situations.
It's not just about memorizing lists, is it? It's about applying language in increasingly complex real-life contexts, guided by those levels.
And those core practice techniques, active repetition with variation, making it personal through storytelling.
Consistent listening, shadowing. They're clearly presented as non-negotiable parts of the journey.
Right. This deep dive really makes it clear that fluency isn't some overnight achievement.
No, it's a result of consistent, targeted practice that builds layer upon layer.
Focusing on what's relevant to you at each stage.
Precisely.
So, what does this all mean for you on your learning journey? Perhaps the most interesting thought to leave with is this.
Okay.
If learning English is about gaining the ability to share your world, express your thoughts, connect with others, what part of your own unique story or experience are you going to challenge yourself to describe or discuss in English today?
Good question.
Using the tools and levels we've explored. Keep practicing, keep exploring, and keep finding your voice. Welcome, everyone, to the Deep Dive. Today, we've got something incredibly practical and really exciting, I think. We're diving deep into a fantastic source, a YouTube transcript that promises to guide you through learning English step by step, all the way from the very beginning, level 1, right up to level 7.
That's right. And what's great is this source, it lays out a really clear path, shows how you can build your English skills pretty naturally. From just simple sentences to expressing complex ideas and even emotions. So our mission in this deep dive basically is to unpack this whole journey for you. We want to extract the most useful techniques, the key phrases, and show you how this step-by-step approach can actually transform your learning.
Yeah, exactly. So if you've ever wondered, how to move beyond just basic words to having real conversations or staying informed or maybe just feeling more confident using English in your daily life, well, this deep dive is definitely for you. Let's unpack what our source has to offer. Okay, so let's get into it. Our source starts right at the beginning. Level 1, absolute beginners. And the focus seems to be really practical, simple, everyday actions. Things you do all the time.
Exactly. And the key here, I think, is building confidence right away. It's all about using these very short, practical sentences. Think about your morning routine, for instance. That's where it starts.
Right. Like the examples are super simple. Good morning, I feel good, time to get ready, stuff like that. Or going to the bathroom, I wash my face, I brush my teeth, I take a shower. Really basic, right?
hmm Simple, clear, and immediately useful. And then moving to the kitchen. I make tea. I eat breakfast. I drink water. The source really emphasizes that you don't need complicated grammar to start. Just speak short sentences with confidence. It's about beginning to sort of think in English through these simple daily actions, connecting the words to your actual life.
Makes sense. It grounds the language immediately.
Precisely. Practical, usable language from day one builds that foundation.
So once you're comfortable with those, level 2 introduces, well, just a little more detail. How does it suggest adding that complexity?
Yeah, level 2 starts adding extra bits of information, things like time or frequency. You're basically taking those simple sentences from level 1 and just making them a bit richer, adding a layer.
Ah, I see. So instead of just I wake up, you might learn to say I wake up at 7 in the morning, or I brush my teeth becomes I brush my teeth for 2 minutes, adding those modifiers.
Exactly. Or I make a cup of tea every day, adds that frequency element. And the source uses this little story about Emma's morning routine to show it in action. She wakes at 6:30, brushes teeth for 2 minutes, takes a shower, goes to the kitchen, makes toast, drinks orange juice, leaves for school. Adding these simple details turns basic actions into more of a narrative, a description of a routine.
Right. It's slow, steady growth, adding more context onto what you already know.
That's the idea, layering it gently.
Okay, now level 3. This is where it feels like it gets really practical for, actual interaction, daily phrases and conversation.
Yes, this level steps into practicing actual dialogues, situations you might genuinely face. Things like ordering coffee, asking for help in a shop, moving from just describing your own actions to interacting with others.
The coffee shop dialogue they give is a perfect example, isn't it? That whole polite back and forth, good morning, what would you like to order? And you practice saying, good morning, I would like a coffee, please.
And then, would you like milk or sugar? Yes, milk and a little sugar.
Here is your coffee. That will be $3. Here you go. Thank you. It's simple, functional, polite, covers the whole transaction.
Exactly. And the bookstore example is similar. Asking, excuse me, where can I find English books? Understanding the answer, they're on the second shelf, and then responding, thank you very much. And the source really stresses practicing these dialogues aloud. Like you're actually there. It's about internalizing the flow, not just memorizing.
Right, feeling the rhythm of a conversation. Okay, level 4 steps things up again. It introduces more vocabulary, but through short stories.
Yeah, using stories is a really smart way to bring in new words and phrases in context.
Yeah.
Makes them stickier,
Yeah.
The example about Sarah going to the market illustrates this well. She needs vegetables, fruits, takes a bag, walks there, buys specific things like tomatoes, onions, peppers, bananas, apples, oranges.
So you're learning the names of things.
Right. And verbs, too. She talks to the vendor, asks how much for the apples. Yeah, here's $3 per kilo, buys 2 kilos, thanks the vendor, returns home.
It puts all these nouns, verbs, useful expressions like how much together in a natural context, a little narrative.
Exactly. And a key practice technique suggested here is to actually recreate that story, but about your own shopping trip. So instead of Sarah, it's you. What do you buy? It makes it personal.
That's clever. Actively using the structure.
Mm-hmm. And they also practice sequencing actions. I'm going to the market. I need to buy. I walk. I see. It helps you structure your own simple stories.
Making the language your own tool. Now, level 5 feels like a big leap. Using connecting words like because, so, and but. This is where sentences start to get more complex.
Oh, absolutely crucial. This is where you move beyond just stating facts to actually linking ideas and explaining things. These conjunctions, because, so, but, they're vital for explaining why something happened or the result or showing a contrast. Adds real depth.
Yeah, the examples make it really clear. I am learning English because I want to study abroad, giving that reason. Or I was tired, so I went to bed early, showing the consequence.
All right. And I like pizza, but I don't eat it every day. Showing that contrast or exception.
Simple examples, but powerful tools.
Definitely. And the story they use about Alex, the software engineer, it weaves these together nicely. He works from home because it's quiet. He loves coding, but also enjoys painting. He goes hiking on weekends so he can relax. See how it builds a richer picture.
Yeah, it flows much more like natural thought.
And the key practice, again, is making your own sentences using these words. Active application is everything.
Okay, so building on that, level 6 shifts focus again more towards natural conversation flow and social skills.
Exactly. This level is less about just the grammar rules and more about sounding, polite, friendly, comfortable in social settings, like being in a friend's house for dinner or attending a party. It's about the nuances.
Yeah, practicing those specific social phrases, like when you arrive somewhere, thank you for inviting me, your home is lovely. And knowing how the host might reply, I'm so happy you could come, I hope you're hungry.
Mm-hmm. And how you respond. Yes, I'm really looking forward to the meal. Everything smells delicious. It's practicing those interaction patterns.
It's like a script, but for real life.
Sort of, yeah. And the story about Maria at her colleague's party shows this kind of small talk. How to give a gift politely. This is for you. I hope you like it. How to receive a compliment. That's very thoughtful. Thank you.
And how to join a conversation. So how do you all know each other? Understanding replies like, we all work in the same department.
Right. This level really emphasizes sounding natural and fluent in these social settings, expressing feelings, opinions, just being socially aware, moving beyond just facts.
Got it. More sophisticated interaction. And finally, level 7, the advanced stage. This seems to be where it all comes together, expressive, emotionally aware language.
Yeah, this is about adding real nuance in your personal voice, handling more complex conversations. It covers things like giving your opinion clearly. In my opinion, learning through stories is more effective. Or I believe speaking every day is key.
Expressing a wider range of feelings too, right? Like, I felt nervous before my interview, or I was excited to meet my favorite author.
Exactly. And even handling disagreement politely. That's a big one. Phrases like, I understand your point, but I see it differently, or that's a good idea, but maybe we should consider other options too. Respectful disagreement.
The source uses a story about Lisa feeling proud after a project success, telling her manager, her parents, showing how to weave emotions into telling a story.
Mm-hmm. And that dialogue between coworkers, Anna and Jack, debating social media versus email campaigns, that demonstrates that polite disagreement and collaboration, reaching a decision together.
It also covers giving suggestions and advice, using phrases like, if I were you, I would, or you should practice speaking.
Right. And the example of Jason taking Emily's advice to record himself practicing it shows how you use language to guide or help someone else, applying what you've learned at this level.
Okay, so that's the progression through the levels. But what's really interesting is how the source keeps highlighting these core practice techniques that apply throughout the whole journey.
Yes, that's crucial. These aren't tied to just one level. Repetition and active practice are central. They suggest this specific technique. Hear a sentence, repeat it, then change just one small part to make a new one.
Like, I go to the gym every morning becomes I go to the park every morning.
Exactly. Or maybe I went to the gym yesterday. It builds flexibility, forces you to actively manipulate the language, not just parrot.
And storytelling is another big one, isn't it? Using the language you've learned at whatever level you're at to talk about your own life.
Definitely. Describe your day, your weekend, your experiences. It makes the learning personal, relevant, and much more memorable.
Then there's listening, called the silent partner.
Yeah. The advice is consistent listening, 15, 30 minutes daily, to things you actually find interesting: music, podcasts, whatever. And the key is not to panic about understanding every word initially. Focus on the main idea. Get used to the sounds, the rhythm,
Right, immersion.
and then connecting that listening directly to speaking through shadowing.
Which is?
Listening to a sentence or a short phrase, pausing the audio and then repeating it exactly as you heard it, trying to mimic the pronunciation, the intonation, the flow.
Ah, like imitating a native speaker's rhythm.
Precisely. It's incredibly powerful for improving your spoken fluency and naturalness.
So these techniques, active repetition, personal storytelling, listening, shadowing, they're really presented as the engines that drive you through the levels.
Absolutely. They're the how behind the what of the
Yeah.
levels.
Okay, and because this source is so practical, it doesn't just stop at levels and techniques. It dives into specific language for loads of common situations.
Right. It shows how all this applies in the real world. Like describing routines and habits using that simple present tense from levels 1 and 2. I usually wake up at 7. I always drink tea. Using stories like Sarah's morning or Tom, the teacher's routine, to illustrate.
Yeah. Or describing your environment, your town, your neighborhood, using phrases like, I live in a small town, it's quiet. Using prepositions, like in the description of Tom's city apartment.
Describing people to appearance and personality. My brother's tall and has dark hair. He's very kind. Using adjectives, like describing Emma's friend Lily, builds vocabulary.
Talking about the past, using the simple past tense. I watched a movie last night. We visited my grandparents, illustrated with stories like Ben's zoo trip or Rachel's weekend, connects back to sentence building.
Asking for help politely. Can you help me, please? Would you mind? Essential social skills, practiced with Nina asking her teacher for repetition.
Giving and getting compliments, that social language from level 6. You did a great job. I like your presentation. And knowing how to respond, thank you, that means a lot. Using Mark complimenting Alex's speech as the example.
Shopping conversations building on level 3 dialogues. Asking prices, sizes, browsing, paying. Using Jessica and Jacob's shopping stories. Wow. Very practical.
Restaurant language, menu, ordering, bill, feedback. Emma and her friend ordering provides the context.
Phone conversations, too. Answering, calling, leaving messages, scheduling. David calling the doctor. Mark calling about an apartment covers essential phone skills.
Even job interviews. Practicing common questions. Tell me about yourself. Why do you want to work here? Using Lisa's bookstore interview story.
Talking about hobbies, free time, sharing personal interests. I like reading. I enjoy cooking. Linking back to that personal expression, Jason's hobbies story.
Expressing emotions. Directly related to level 7. I feel happy, I'm tired, I was nervous. Maria's presentation story again, showing feelings in context.
Giving directions. Go straight, turn left. It's across from the park. Alan finding the museum is the scenario. Basic survival skill.
Future plans. Using going to or will. We are planning. I hope to. Priya's trip to Japan example.
Describing problems and solutions. My internet wasn't working. I lost my phone. And importantly, the solution part. David's flat tire story.
Making plans with friends. Suggestions like, would you like to have coffee? Responses, refusals. Sarah and Olivia making plans shows the social back and forth.
And finally, the doctor's office. Describing symptoms, answering questions, understanding advice. Jenny's visit illustrates this crucial situation.
Wow. Okay, that was quite the journey. We've really traced this path laid out by the source. From the absolute simplest English sentences right up to, well, expressing complex feelings and handling pretty tricky social situations.
It really is amazing how it breaks it down, isn't it? Showing you can genuinely build fluency step by step, layer by layer, by practicing these real-life phrases, dialogues, stories. It all connects.
Yeah, and those practice techniques threaded throughout repetition, shadowing, consistent listening, storytelling, they really highlight that learning isn't just about knowing words theoretically. It's about making the language your own through active, consistent use.
Exactly. This deep dive makes it so clear that progress isn't about some magical jump to fluency. It's about consistent practice with what's relevant and manageable for you at each stage, building block by block.
So, thinking about all this for you, the listener, what does it all mean?
Well, maybe the most interesting thought to leave you with is this. If learning English is this journey, From simple descriptions to expressing your deepest feelings and opinions.
Hmm.
What aspect of your own life story, your own thoughts, your own world are you ready to start telling in English today? Even just a small piece.
That's a great challenge. Keep practicing, keep exploring, and keep using your voice.
Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're diving deep into something really practical. It's a fantastic YouTube transcript, actually, that maps out a clear, step-by-step path for learning English.
Right, taking you all the way from, like, level 1, the very beginning.
Up to level 7, confident communication.
Exactly. And this source, it doesn't just, throw words at you. It lays out a really logical progression.
Showing how you can build skills naturally, level by level.
Yeah, starting with simple actions, everyday stuff, and building up to expressing, well, complex ideas, feelings, opinions.
So our mission here is to unpack that whole journey for you.
Pull out the best techniques, the core phrases.
And show why this kind of structured approach can be, well, a game changer.
Absolutely.
So if you've ever felt a bit stuck or just wondered how to get from basic words to actual conversations,
Or using English confidently in daily life.
then this deep dive is definitely for you. Let's jump in and see what this source offers.
All right.
Okay, so let's unpack this. The source kicks off right at the start, level 1, absolute beginners.
And the focus is super practical here. Just simple, everyday actions, things you do all the time.
Yeah, and what's interesting is how it focuses on building confidence straight away.
Using these really short, manageable sentences tied directly to your life.
Like your morning routine.
Exactly. The examples are things like, good morning, simple, I feel good, time to get ready.
Okay. Or going into the bathroom actions. I wash my face. I brush my teeth. I take a shower. Really basic stuff.
But the key is saying them with confidence, right? Even though they're short.
That's the core idea. Same in the kitchen. I make tea. I eat breakfast. I drink water.
Right.
The source really emphasizes that you don't need complex grammar to start speaking.
It's about starting to think in English through these daily actions.
Precisely. Making it relevant from day one.
Connecting the words to your actual reality.
Practical, usable language immediately.
Okay, so once those short sentences feel comfortable, level 2 adds just a bit more detail. Yeah, this level starts weaving in extra info. Things like time or how often you do something.
Enriching the basic statements.
Exactly.
So instead of just, I wake up,
It becomes, I wake up at 7 in the morning.
or I brush my teeth turns into, I brush my teeth for 2 minutes.
Right. Or adding frequency, like I make a cup of tea every day.
Got it.
And the source uses a little story about Emma's morning to show this.
Right, waking at 6:30, brushing teeth for 2 minutes, showering, kitchen, toast, juice, school.
Yeah, those small details turn simple actions into more of a narrative, a routine.
So the goal is slow, steady growth,
Yeah,
layering more context.
exactly. Build on what you already know.
Okay, level 3. This is where it starts getting really interactive, isn't it? Moving into actual dialogues.
Yes, this is about practicing real situations you might actually encounter.
Like ordering coffee or asking for help in a shop.
Precisely. Shifting from just talking about yourself to interacting with others.
The coffee shop example seems perfect for this.
It walks you through the whole exchange. Good morning. What would you like to order?
And you practice saying, good morning. I would like a coffee, please.
Then the questions about milk or sugar, you answer. They give the price.
You pay, say thank you. It's a complete functional interaction.
Functional, polite, covers everything.
Yep.
And the bookstore one is similar.
Excuse me, where can I find English books?
Understanding the answer, they are on the second shelf.
And responding politely, thank you very much.
And the source stresses practicing these aloud, right? Really putting yourself in the scene.
Yeah, not just memorizing, but internalizing the conversational flow.
Exactly.
All right, moving up to level 4. This introduces more vocabulary, but using short stories.
Yeah, which is a pretty smart way to do it.
Yeah.
Context makes words stick better.
Okay.
The example is Sarah going to the market, needs veggies, fruits, takes a bag, walks there.
Buy specific things. Tomatoes, onions, peppers, bananas, apples.
Talks to the vendor, asks how much for the apples. Here's the price, $3 per kilo. Buys 2 kilos.
Thanks the vendor, goes home. It's a simple narrative arc.
But it naturally weaves in nouns like vendor, kilo, verbs like buys, asks, phrases like how much.
You see how the words connect?
And a key practice technique here, the source suggests.
Retelling the story, but about yourself.
Exactly. Your shopping trip, your items. Makes it personal.
Okay, that makes sense.
And it also practices sequencing. First I do this, then I do that. help structure your own descriptions.
Well, I go to the market, I need to buy that kind of flow.
Making the language your own.
Now, level 5 feels like a really crucial step, connecting ideas with words like because, so, but.
Oh, absolutely. This is where your speaking starts to get more complex, more explanatory.
Moving beyond just listing facts.
Right. These conjunctions let you explain why, show results, or contrast ideas. Adds depth.
The examples seem clear. I'm learning English because I want to study abroad. Reason.
I was tired, so I went to bed early. Result?
I like pizza, but I don't eat it every day. Contrast.
Exactly, and the story about Alex, the software engineer, shows them working together.
Works from home because it's quiet.
Loves coding, but also likes painting.
Goes hiking weekends, so he relaxes. It paints a much fuller picture.
And the source emphasizes making your own sentences using these words, active practice, not just reading.
Right. Applying it immediately. Okay, so building on that, level 6 focuses more on natural flow and social situations.
Yeah, moving beyond just grammatically correct to sounding, polite, friendly, comfortable.
Like being at someone's house for dinner or at a party. Social skills.
Exactly. Practicing those specific social phrases.
Like, thank you for inviting me. Your home is lovely.
And the host's reply, I'm so happy you could come. I hope you're hungry.
And knowing how to respond. Yes, I'm really looking forward to it. It smells delicious.
It's about navigating those social moments smoothly.
The story about Maria at our colleague's party seems to cover this well.
Demonstrate small talk essentials. Offering a gift.
This is for you. Hope you like it.
Responding to a compliment. That's very thoughtful. Thank you.
And joining conversations. So how do you all know each other? Getting involved.
Yeah, the emphasis is really on sounding natural, expressing feelings appropriately, showing social awareness. It's not just about facts anymore.
Right. More nuanced communication.
Definitely.
And that leads us to level 7, the final level in this source. More advanced, expressive, emotionally aware language.
Exactly. This is where you really start sharing your inner world thoughts, feelings, opinions, and handling more complex discussions.
Adding your personal voice.
Like giving opinions clearly, in my opinion, or I believe.
Expressing feelings beyond just happy or sad. I felt nervous before my interview.
But it went well. Or I was excited to meet my favorite author.
And even disagreeing politely, which is a key skill.
Hugely important. Phrases like, I understand your point, but I see it differently.
Or, that's a good idea, but maybe we should consider other options too. Maintaining respect.
Right. The story about Lisa feeling proud after her project shows weaving emotion into a narrative.
And the dialogue between Anna and Jack debating marketing strategies.
Yeah, that shows polite disagreement and working towards a decision together, collaboration.
It also covers giving suggestions and advice, right?
If I were you, I would. Or, you should practice speaking every day.
And the story of Jason taking advice about recording himself practicing shows that in action, using language to help.
So level 7 is really about fluent, nuanced, socially and emotionally intelligent communication.
Okay, that's a clear progression through the levels.
Yep.
But the source also highlights core practice techniques that apply throughout.
Yes, absolutely. These aren't tied to one level. They're fundamental to the whole process.
Like repetition and active practice.
Central to it, but not just mindless repetition. The source suggests hearing a sentence, repeating it, then changing a small part.
Like I go to the gym every morning becomes I go to the park every morning.
Or I went to the gym yesterday. It builds flexibility by actively playing with the language.
Makes sense. And storytelling.
Another key technique. Using the language you've learned at your current level to talk about your own life.
Your day, your weekend, your experiences. Making it personal again.
Exactly. Which makes it stick.
What about listening?
Called the silent partner. The advice is 15-30 minutes daily, listening to things you find genuinely interesting.
Music, podcasts, videos.
Whatever grabs you.
Yeah.
And don't stress about catching every word initially. Focus on the main idea. Get used to the rhythm.
Okay.
And then connecting, listening to speaking through shadowing.
Right. Listen, pause, repeat exactly.
Yeah, mimicking the pronunciation, the intonation, the flow. It's powerful for improving how you sound.
So these techniques, active variation, personal storytelling, consistent listening, shadowing, they're like the engine driving you through the levels.
That's a great way to put it. They're essential, not optional extras.
And because it's so practical, the source then applies all this to specific common simulations,
There are tons of them. It shows how these principles work in real life.
like describing routines and habits, using that simple present tense from levels 1 and 2.
I usually wake up at 7. I always drink tea. Illustrated with stories like Sarah's Morning or Tom the Teacher's Day.
Or describing your environment, your town, your home.
Yeah, I live in a small town. There is a park near my house.
Yeah.
Using prepositions, describing places.
Describing people, too, appearance and personality.
My brother is tall. He's very kind. Using adjectives like describing Emma's friend Lily.
And talking about the past, using the simple past tense.
I watched a movie last night. We visited my grandparents, using stories like Ben's zoo trip or Rachel's weekend for practice.
Asking for help politely, another essential.
Can you help me, please? Would you mind? Illustrated by Nina needing help in her computer class. Practical stuff.
Giving and receiving compliments, that social skill from level 6.
Right. You did a great job. I like your presentation. And knowing how to respond. Thank you. That means a lot. Mark complimenting Alex's speech is the example.
Shopping conversations are covered in detail.
Asking prices, sizes, browsing, paying, receipts. Building on level 3 dialogues, using stories about Jessica and Jacob shopping.
Restaurant language, too.
Menu, ordering, bill, giving feedback. Emma and her friend ordering shows this.
Phone calls, answering, making calls, leaving messages, appointments.
Yeah. David calling the doctor, Mark calling about an apartment, covering those key phone interactions.
Even job interviews get a mention.
Practicing common questions. Tell me about yourself. Why do you want this job? Using Lisa's bookstore interview as a scenario.
Talking about hobbies, letting you share personal interests.
I like reading. I enjoy cooking. Connecting to that personal expression from the later levels. Jason's hobbies.
Expressing emotions, linking back to level 7.
I feel happy. I was nervous. Using Maria's presentation story again to show incorporating feelings.
Giving directions.
Go straight. Turn left. Alan finding the museum provides the context.
Talking about future plans using going to or will.
We are planning, I hope to. Priya's trip to Japan story.
Describing problems and solutions, a really practical one.
My internet wasn't working. Then adding the fix, so I restarted the modem. David's flat tire example.
Making plans with friends.
Suggestions like, would you like to get coffee? Positive responses. Polite refusals. Sarah and Olivia making plans.
And finally, language for the doctor's office. Crucial.
Describing symptoms, answering questions, understanding advice. Jenny's visit to the doctor covers this essential scenario.
Wow. That was quite the journey through this source. It really covers a lot.
It really does. We've traced that path from the absolute simplest sentences.
Right up to expressing complex feelings and handling tricky social stuff.
It's amazing how it breaks it down, showing you really can build fluency step by step.
Layer by layer, practicing real phrases, dialogues, stories.
And those practice techniques, repetition, shadowing, listening, they really drive home that learning isn't passive.
No, it's about actively using the language, making it your own.
Exactly.
This deep dive really clarifies that progress isn't about mastering everything instantly.
No, it's about consistent practice with what's relevant at each stage, building steadily.
So, thinking about this whole journey, what does it all mean for you, the listener?
Yeah, perhaps the most interesting thought to leave you with is this. If learning English is this journey, from simple descriptions all the way to sharing your deepest feelings and opinions,
Okay.
what aspect of your own life story, your own experiences, are you ready to start telling in English today? Maybe using some of these tools.
That's a great challenge.
Keep practicing, keep exploring, and keep using your voice.